everyone. Hey, it's Christina. I am Christina Taylor. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio. And today I am sharing with you the inspiration for the class that we'll be doing today together. So, and I'm not, I've just decided to go ahead and get started, get right to the goodness of all the creativity instead of talking on camera. So you're just going to see my hands. And no, I did not do my nails blue to kind of go along with the class. It just happened to work out that way. I thought this was a fun color last week or week before, whenever I got them done. And yeah, so it just kind of worked out that way, but they match that blue scene. It kind of looked like ballet blue that we had, for those of you that have been stamping for a while, that we had quite a while ago. That's the color I think of anyway. Okay, so today's class, these are the projects that we're doing, and they were inspired by this kit. So my class name is the Blueprint for Beautiful and an exploration of blues. And so I was inspired by this kit. This is a new kit. Let me just take these out. This is a new kit from Stampin' Up! It's in our annual catalog, so it just came out, and it's called Beautiful Blues Kit. So as you can see, there are 3 different project designs in here. You make a total of 9 cards. You get these beautiful envelopes too. Of course, you've got, the directions and all the good things that come along with Stampin' Up! Kits. So I just kind of thought I would share a little bit. I didn't even create this kit yet. I just opened it up and I was just like, this is so beautiful. Like, I need to do a kit with blues. I need to do a class with blues. So that's where it came from. So this is the stamp set in there. You've got Sending Love, You're in My Thoughts, and Wishing You Comfort with this sweet little image. So that's in photopolymer. You've got your sticky strip. You've got acrylic block comes with this as well. Then you've got all your die cuts. So you've got these really pretty die cut pieces that'll layer onto the card. And some more imagery. And these things will kind of tuck behind the labels. And those are outlined in like Native Navy and Misty Moonlight. So you've got all these die cut pieces. You've got your card bases. So a total of 9 and 3 of each. For this one, when I do make this, I'm going to cut this in half and make this 2 cards. It's too beautiful to make a backside of cards. Probably the same with this too. For this one, I'll probably go ahead and keep it just as is. It's just a white back on the front of that card. It's so pretty. And then you've got some gems to go along with it, like some little shimmer gems and your dimensionals, and then a Night of Navy Stampin' Spot. So this kit is currently available, and it's $23 plus shipping and tax. So it's a great value. You make 9 cards. I mean, and they're beautiful. So just wanted to share that with you before we get started, so you can see where my inspiration came from. And then I can't wait to create this kit. Okay. So then these are our class projects today. And as you can see, they all feature blues. So we're going to go ahead and get started with these projects. And I'll explain things as we go along. Okay, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now you're going to notice a couple different things with this video. So when I was designing these project kits, I was of course going with all things blue. I was also setting up for my retired stamp sale, and I had a whole lot of things going on with my parents and all the things. So life was a little crazy. So I was pulling from things that, well, this is since retired and the paper's retired, but and I'll show you on a couple different things because I needed them to all be blue. So I will ask that you just kind of bear with me on those things not being available, but I also know that we always have substitutions. So if you don't have this fishing paper, you can use something else to create this card. You just need the 3 strips of designer series paper cut by 2 by 4. So which you'll see.
So take the idea and explore your own creativity. But for those of you taking the kit to go, you of course are going to have those supplies and you'll be able to create along with me. But as you'll see as we go through the projects, I had to improvise on a couple different things because I had such a great response for the class that I ran out of colors of the paper and things and kind of had to change things up. So I'm going to be showing you an alternate project for one of the designs as well. So that being said, if there's anything that I'm using today that you're like, you know what, Christina, I'd like to have that in my um, creative goodies that I can kind of pull from and make beautiful things with. You can visit my online store at stampinucrazy.stampinup.net, and you'll need your own online account to be able to order, and you'll earn Stampin' Rewards by ordering directly on my website. If you would like me to help you with your order, I can put that through for you. It has to be done slightly different, and we can no longer, like demonstrators can no longer handle customers' credit cards. So it would just be different forms of payment, which of course we could talk about. So you can also find me on YouTube, which if you're watching this channel, there's a pretty good chance you know where my YouTube channel or this video, you know where my YouTube channel is, but you can find me at Christina Taylor at Stamp Me Crazy. Oh my gosh, I think the heat is getting to me, so I'm just like fumbling my words here. So let's just get started. All right, so we're using boho blue, which has since retired, but last I looked, there was some cardstock on the clearance rack in the boho blue. So that was kind of cool. And you might even find a couple other products like blends and ribbon and things like that as well. And not the clearance rack, the last chance list. And then we are using the So Swirly embossing folder, which is one of our new larger embossing folders. So you can do 2 card panels at one time, which is pretty cool. And you get this fun swirly design, which I felt like went along with the fishing theme, the water. And then we're using the Blooming Phrases stamp set, which I'm loving lately. So if you've watched my videos, you know because I've used it repeatedly. And this, of course, has some floral imagery in it, but we're going to use it today for the sentiments. And oops, and this is the card we're going to be creating. So you can see that fun embossing folder behind. We've got some designer series paper, and then our sentiments, we did some little layering there, and of course, some tearing. Our sentiments are popped up with dimensionals, you can see there, and everything else is kind of flush with the card. And that's so, okay, on our supplies. So we've got our envelope. We have a piece of boho blue that is cut long. Whoops, I've actually grabbed 2 pieces. I only need 1. Okay, so we've got it's cut long at 4 1/4 by 11 and is scored at 5 1/2. We've got 3 pieces of designer series paper. You can use any designer series paper. If you're taking the kit class, you of course have all these goodies in your kit. And they are 2 by 4. So you need 3 pieces. Then you just need some 1/2-inch strips that we're going to be stamping our sentiment on. So they can be any length because we're going to tear them down for what we need them for. And we've got a piece of basic vanilla that's 4 by 5 1/4. And a piece of boho blue that's 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so we're going to start by folding our boho blue cardstock in half. And flatten that with our bone folder. Okay, so we want to emboss this piece of boho blue with that So Swirly embossing folder, and I have already gone ahead and done that. So you can see that cool design that it creates, just like some swirling water. And then to kind of create a little consistency there with our project, I went ahead and did that with our envelope flap too. So you can see the texture there. So that'll coordinate nicely. All right, so we are going to, let's see, that's going to go in there. That's going to go there. We're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiments. So I had this down for birthday, and I think I'm going to just make another one just like that. Because who can't use the birthday card, especially with the fishing? It's like, if you've got men in your life that like to fish, this is a great card to create for them. So I'm going to stamp that down, and I would normally use my foam mat, but these sentiment stamps, now this could prove me wrong, but they tend to stamp really well without having to use that. So we'll see if that's correct. Good. It is. Yay. I could say that, and then it would just go ahead and like get all buggered up and not stamp correctly for me. Okay, so I'm just cleaning those off on my chamois really quickly, and that's it for the stamping. We're just stamping our sentiment on this one, so easy, easy there. And then we're going to go ahead and start assembling. So let's put this inside in there. I did not put a sentiment on the inside. I'll wait and do that when I go to send it. Okay. Oh, let's see. Which side do I want to use? So that side. You could choose either one, really. You're going to get a cool design either way. And that's going to give some nice texture to that card front. And then I'm just going to tear off the edge of that at an angle, and same with the happy. So tear those two off. And we'll come in here with a little adhesive on the top. So I'm just going to layer that just slightly to give a nice little pop of blue. And yikes, I probably should have, oh, that's going to be close. I wasn't paying attention to that. And I'm like, this might not be as long as I need it to be, but it looks like it's going to work. So that is good. Okay. Oh my goodness, I was running errands earlier and it was like I don't know, my grandma always used to say gully washer, so that's what it was like a gully washer. It just came down out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, it was raining so hard that it was like white. It's not good. Okay, then I'm just gonna tear this. All right, so I've got those two pieces and the sentiments just torn, so you get those two little torn edges, but a nice pop of color underneath that sentiment. And then I'm going to tear the lower edge of each one of these. And I'm just going to take like about a 1/4 inch off, just really just a little bit. I just want to create a little texture at the bottom. And make sure your fish are going the way right side up. So check the direction on your paper before you tear it. I don't really know if there's a up and down direction with these flies for the fishing, but so I'm just gonna choose one. All right, and we're ready to put these together. Okay, well, so I can put this in the shot so you can kind of see if you're working along with me. So we're just gonna kind of put this up about a 1/4 inch from the top of that layer. And then we'll come in with our next piece and drop that down a little bit. This one ends up being kind of like in the center of the card, if that's helpful while you're laying it out. And then lastly, we've got the fish piece. Okay, and let me grab some dimensionals. I'm gonna flip these pieces over. And I might actually be able to use the full-size ones. I wasn't sure if they would be too big. So I'm gonna put want to make sure that I get good support in that center. I'll use one of these little pieces here. So it doesn't like sag. They will put the birthday on first. Anyway, so yes, I was running errands and of course I had my hair done when I left today earlier. And then the humidity just was just crazy. So I've pulled it back, but I was soaked when I had came home. I had a dress on. It's hot outside, so had a summer dress on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need to change. I'm soaking wet, like from the rain. So yeah. So it's probably best that you're not seeing me on camera today. Okay, so this is our first card. There we go. So we've got the swirly envelope matching that embossing behind, and then those fun fishing papers with our happy birthday. Okay, let me clean this space up and I'll come back with our next project. Okay, here we are with our next project. It'd probably help if I got it to let you see what it's going to look like. So this is our next project using this beautiful peaceful view stamp. It is gorgeous. You're going to want to have it. It's so simple, but like just it does all the things in one stamp. And we are using the new cloud cover ink. Okay, we just got this popped up. It's the statement or the sentiment there, and I'm going to show you how to make a smaller punch here because this is a little bit smaller than our tailored tag punch. So I'm going to set that to side there and share with you what we're using. So we're using the tailored, or I'm sorry, not tailored tag. I think that's what I've been calling it. The ladies at class never even said anything. I would think I was calling it tailored tag because we did have one like that, but the images, the lines were much sharper corners. This is the heartfelt hexagon. Maybe I should get that right. Might be helpful. So we're going to be using that today. We are using the Peaceful View stamp set, which is a one big stamp. We're going to use it on the Stamparatus. Makes life a whole much easier. I know we don't carry this anymore. But it's a great tool and I'm going to keep on using it. And I think I have one of these still in my stock. If you are interested, let me know and I will connect you with that. And then the right words. This is a new sentiment stamp set that is in the idea book, Big Idea Booklet and Catalog. And I've chosen a couple stamps to possibly put on this one. I might change it up a little bit, but we'll go over that when I get to stamping it. But it's a great all occasion stamp set, but with words just like it says, the right words. Like when you need certain words and you don't have them on a stamp or you can't write them out, stamp set takes care of it. And then we're using cloud cover. So I have the cloud cover ink refill. And then I've made myself a Stampin' Spot from our uninked Stampin' Spots because there is an issue with the cloud cover ink reacting with our traditional foam pads. And over time, the color of the ink changed and was more of a darker gray, I guess, than blue. So Stampin' Up! Wasn't happy with that. So they are not offering the pad, the full-size pad in the cloud cover, but you can make your own Stampin' Spot. And I'm going to show you how you can even use a Stampin' Spot on a really big stamp, and it can be just a little ink pad and it'll be fine. Okay, so the supplies that I have, we've got our white envelope. Oh my goodness, I have two of each thing. I think I'm grabbing a kit. We've got a piece of cloud cover that's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4.25. And then we've got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5.25. And you've got two pieces of basic white that are 3.75 by 5. So super easy. Then you just need a scrap, which I have one here. We're going to obviously punch the heartfelt hexagon out of that. So let's get started by folding our card base in half. And using a bone folder to flatten that. And then we're gonna use this one for our layer. We're gonna stamp on this one and we're gonna use this one for the side. Now, several of the ladies did, I was so proud of them because they just went ahead and did it. And I didn't even do it for this project. I wasn't thinking. But so we'll go ahead and do it just because so many of them were like channeling my, let's save paper. We're going to take this layer that we're laying around and we're going to go ahead and insert our heartfelt hexagon punch and punch our hexagon out of the center of that. We're going to layer over it so you won't even see that that's gone. The great thing about doing it this way is you're not adding any extra weight to your project. You're just simply taking that punch out of the layer, and it's achieving the look you want without adding more weight to your paper. Or your card, if that makes sense. So we're going to use that in just a minute. Let's do our stamping. Get these stamps out of the way. I'll just put them over a second here. Okay. As you can see, we have a well-loved piece of paper from class. Just put my little piece of sticky tack tape on there. I'm going to go ahead and put my white cardstock down here. I just kind of made some arrows so the ladies knew where to put it. And it made it for ease as far as trying to line it then back up. Okay. And I'm just going to take my stamping spot, and I didn't check to see if I should have re-inked this before class, or before I did the video. So we'll see. If I have to re-ink it, I'll just do it on camera. So I'm just going over the stamp. You can see that I'm just pressing it right into the stamp and not gliding it because I don't want line marks there. I'm just tapping it around to get that ink all over the stamp. Okay, so that looks pretty good coverage. So what I'm going to do then is bring it down, and there's my little Stamparatus guide. So I'm just going to go back and forth on this. Pressing that down. Okay, let's bring that up and see. Oh, yeah, it's a little light. We're definitely going to have to re-ink this. Okay. Let me re-ink this before we do it again. So you can just take your little re-inker and just go ahead and squeeze some ink right on that little pad. That'll rejuvenate it a bit. This little spot got really well loved at class, and it has done a very good job at holding up. Let me get my spoon. I always like to take a little spoon and just kind of push the ink down in there so it's not right at the top and I get like a blob of the ink color. All right, let's see if this is better, if we need to even add more. Oh yeah, that's going to be better. So I'm just going back through and creating that same process because this is really light and I need it to, I want it to pop. I want to be able to see that dimension within the stamp, but I want to see all that detail too, of like the little grass down here at the bottom and the wildflowers, the little bird on the fence, all the things. So I think I got everything again. So we're going to go ahead and press that down again. Use my little gliding tool to see how that looks. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. I am going to do a little bit more right here though, just because it seems a little light, whether I didn't quite get it there. So we'll just do kind of right in there. That's the great thing about the Stamparatus is that you can just go back and repeat that so you get that definition that you want. Oh yeah, I really like this one. That works out really well. Okay, perfect. Let me set this aside. Okay, so we've got our stamped front piece. Now we need to do a sentiment. So on my example, I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I think this image in this stamp set is just so calming and peaceful. So let's see. It's okay. It's okay if all you do today, it's okay if all you did today was breathe. Just so much I care about you. I wish I had the right words. Okay, we're gonna go with that one on the front. I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I'm gonna ink it like this so I can see what I'm doing. With a little Stampin' Spot, I always like to ink like that, upside down with the spot. And I'm going to stamp this towards the top of the punch. Okay, and let me get that cleaned off. Okay. So you'll notice that this punch out is bigger than this one. So when I was putting this together, I thought it looked fine, but it covers the little bird on the fence and stuff. And I really wanted to I wanted to show that white on the card. I just felt like I really liked the depth that that created. So I'm going to take and make this smaller. And to do that, I'm going to take a sticky note, put the little tab of stickiness on the top of my punch out, and then I'm going to bring it down into my punch. And well, it's wanting to, there we go. Okay, so I've got it lined up in the bottom, and I'm just going to drop that down right there. So you see all that space that it's creating? That's how much I'm making the punch smaller. My little sentiment statement. So it just gives you these two little pieces that are just trash. You take that little sticky note off and look, you've got this little guy now. So I gave it a little definition by just running the ink pad, it along the ink pad or the little Stampin' Spot to kind of just make that white stand out against, or the sentiment stand out against the white background and give it a little pop there. So see, can you see that? It's just, it's probably hard to tell on the camera. There's a white, there's a little blue outline around it. I'm trying to help, I'm trying to show, but it's the camera's not showing it so much that way. Okay, on the next one inside, I'm gonna put, it's okay if all you did today was breathe. Because I've got a friend and I know exactly who I'm gonna send this to. She's having a difficult time. So this will be a good card for her. Okay. The other one was, but just know how much I love and care about you, which was what most of the people did at class. All right. Okay, we are ready to layer and assemble our card. All right, so I flipped that over like it's two different sides. I don't even know why I did that, but we're gonna put some adhesive on this. Put this on the front of our card. And that's gonna create a nice white layer there for us that we're then gonna put this one over top. And being that it has mostly cloud cover on it, it's just gonna create a nice frame right there. So pretty. I love the softness of this card, which I've probably said that a gazillion times. Okay. And then we're gonna pop this up on some dimensionals. So we will do 2 of those. And we're going to put this on so we can see that little birdie on the tree. There we go. Got our envelope. What do you think about that one? This is one of my favorite ones. I mean, I liked them all, but I like I just love this stamp. Okay, I need to stop talking about it. You're probably tired of hearing it. Okay, all right, I'm going to clear this one up and then I'll get another project to share with you in just a moment. Okay, this is the next project that we're going to do. We've got some beautiful embossing there, a hint of blue on the card. Just a real simple note. Okay. And let's see. All right, so the products that we're using on this project, I have used the Stylish Stitch Shapes. Okay, so we've got a series, I know they're all jumbled in here, but we've got a series of circles, squares, and the banners, and I've chosen the largest circle. So that's from that die set. And then I used for the sentiment, I chose this is the textured notes dies, which come with a beautiful designer series paper and stamp set, which let me see, do I have the stamp set in front of me? Yes, stamp set right here. Really, really pretty. We're just using a different one today. And I chose this smaller rectangle out of there, and you get that nice stitching on it. The stamps that we're using is Love and Strength, which was new in the last catalog. I believe it was an online exclusive, and now it's in the current catalog, but has some really nice sentiments in it and some imagery. So these are the ones I've selected out of there, along with It's Okay If All You Did Today Was Breathe. Then the blue that we're using is Azure Afternoon, which is very close to actually my nail color now that I look at that. And then I gave the ladies a couple different embossing folders to choose from. So they either chose the Eyelet 3D one or the Distressed Tile one. Okay. Both, and that one's 3D as well. Both of these folders require the gray specialty plate when you're embossing because they are 3D. So keep that in mind if you choose to order either one of those. Okay, let me set these things aside. And the supplies that we're using today, so we've got our envelope. We have a piece of Berry Vanilla that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. Then we've got a piece of vanilla that is 4 by 5.25. I have already gone ahead and embossed this with the Distress Tile embossing folder, and you can see how it has that definition. It's a little clearer in some parts, and then kind of, very, very faint in others. I've gone ahead and die cut that stitched circle and our label. So we are ready to get right to work. So we're going to start by folding our card base in half. Well, my score, I think, was a little off there. Let me fix this. Or let me attempt to fix this anyway. My score line was just a tad off. All right, so we've folded that on the score line. We're gonna go ahead and do a little stamping here. So I'm gonna stamp my flower. Just put that there. And then actually I want to do that on my envelopes as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So all of our stamping is done. And I would like to put a flower on the envelope back flap. So I can do that. Okay. And then we need to do our sentiment on the front and back. So I've got that. I'm here for you. Okay. And then on the inside, it's okay if all you did was breathe. Okay. All right, so ink, we can shut that out of the way. We're ready to assemble. This one's coming together very quickly. And you know what? Look what I did. Let's go back up here. Do you see this card is going this way and I stamped it this way. So let me think. Do I want to? Yeah. Okay, we're going to try it that way. I was just going to flip it and put my layers over this so it would be covered and you wouldn't even know it was there. But actually, I'm just going to change the orientation of it. Well, instead of doing like horizontal, we're going to go vertical. So, see, there's no mistakes in stamping. It's just an opportunity to create differently. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So, if you do that, you can have an easy fix for it too. Okay. Let's get some dimensionals here. And this is a larger circle, so I want to make sure I've got support all the way around. So I'm going to put 4 on there so we can get all sides. Okay, so let me think about how I want to put this so I can just kind of set it off that side. I'm going to put a dimensional on the end over here because I'm just going to put a little adhesive on here and just kind of tack that on my circle. Okay. All right. So there is our third card and kind of a quick fix, a little bit different layout because I made a boo-boo, but it works just like this one. So okay, this let me clean this up and I'll come back with one last project for you. Okay, all right, this is our next project, and this is where I'm going to change things up because I ran out of the designer series papers in the blues. The majority of everyone had blues. You at least have some blue in your kit, but there could be a couple that have the Blackberry Bliss and this version of, or you could have a Night of Navy and a version of the designer series paper. All the cards that are in your kit will create the same design, like the layout and what the coloring just could be a little different. I mean, what I want to say, like whether it's Misty Moonlight or Night of Navy, and you may have a Blackberry Bliss in there too. So this is the direction that the cards were going because it, going along with our blueprint for beautiful with blues. And we've got these 2 cards. So we've got a book fold, which is a fun fold and a great way to use your designer series paper too. So for this card, I am going to go and show you the Blackberry Bliss version because I wanted to make sure to give the blue ones to ladies in the class, of course. So this particular project at class, it tended to take the longest because I had so many choices for everybody and they could just create, which I love to be able to allow that open option for you to do what speaks to you. So in the class, you may have used Night of Navy, Balmy Blue, or Misty Moonlight. We're not going to use those on the project that I'm showing you because it's going to be Blackberry Bliss. But these were the options in class. Along with, I used the Spotlight on Nature dies, which is there's 2 sets of these particular dies, one underneath, and it covers all the designs from this little hash pattern to the little lines here to the little flower petals. So I've taken this die to use for die cutting. And the stamp sets that were available for this one was the Grateful Blessing, which I chose the You're Such a Blessing on the card. I'm going to stick with that one for today's example. And then you could stamp with the Loveliest Tree, or you could stamp with the Spotlight on Nature, or of course you could use the Grateful Blessing and use these little, I'm calling them forget-me-nots. I don't know, they could be a different flower, but I made them like forget-me-nots on here with the little blue flowers, or the light blue. At least that's what mine look like. So for this project, I'm going to use the Spotlight on Nature. So we will set that one aside. That's Loveliest Tree was what I used in the example. So, which is why it's still on the block. So I'm going to pull these out because I'm not using them on this one. But wanted to show you that those were the options for class. Okay, so our die cut circle is popped up. Everything else is flush to the card. And I'll explain the mounting process for the ribbon and to create that book fold. Okay, so we are using, as I mentioned, Blackberry Bliss. So this is what we're going to do. We've got our white envelope we've got a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 4¼ by 11. And it is scored at the 5½. And then I did an 1¼ that way. So let me give you the other score. So it's scored at 5½, but it is also scored at 4¼ So 4¼ 5½. To get your folds for your book design. Then I've got a piece of basic white that's 4 by 4, a piece of the designer series paper that's 4 by 4, another piece of designer series paper that's 1 by 4, my die cut circle that is from the Spotlight on Nature dies, and it is on the basic white. And then I've got a piece of the velvety ribbon. On this one, I used the Night of Navy velvety ribbon, so I tried to stick with that same texture. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started on this last one. We're gonna score or fold at our score line. And then you're gonna take and hold your fingers at that other score line and fold this fold back. Okay, so you're also already creating that design with your card. We're gonna do that. I need to do a little stamping here. So I'm gonna come back in with, where is my, there we go, stamping mat. And I would like to get my foam mat because this is a polymer stamp. And I want to make sure to get that sentiment stamped fully. So I'm going to ink that up with my Blackberry Bliss. Oh, that's nice and rich. There we go. And clean that off on my chamois. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with this flower, and we're just going to stamp this off a little bit. And then I'm going to stamp it. So it's just a little lighter. And for this side, I'm going to stamp more of this. Stamp that off to get some of that. Let's see, I might do this another time too. So I've got a little bit of the blossom there. Yeah, let's do this again. Stamp it there. Okay, let me clean this off and then I'll show you a little bit more what I did. So I just wanted a little bit of the flowers going around it. So let me show here. So you just got those little blossoms coming around the image there. So it just complements the greeting. It doesn't take away from it. And then on my inside layer, you know what, I'll stamp a little bit of the flower as well. Let's do that again. Stamp off to just tone that down a little bit and do those blossoms. Okay. Go. I keep doing that, and I need to let's complete the project. Christina, let's go get something on our envelope too. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think that's all the stamping we need to do. I'm definitely going to close this Blackberry Bliss up because, like Night of Navy, if you're working with it, you're usually going to wear it. Okay, so again, this is not blue. Obviously, I know our class is to be all blues, but I needed something that would be complementary to the design, and this worked really well. So you'll notice when I'm putting this on, and you might even want to wait till you fasten there, but I'm leaving a nice little like 1/8" layer around to create a frame there, because this is going to come down and be closed. So this is all the further it's going to open. So maybe I should have waited to do that because I don't want to confuse you if you're following along and doing that. You might want to wait. Just make sure your perimeter is slim right there so that you don't end up covering it with the book fold. All right, then we're going to put our designer series paper on the front. And this larger piece, of course, goes with, just have to figure out which way I want it on there. Goes with the larger side. Go. And then we've got our slim strip. Okay, I'm gonna put those together. I like this purple too. This is nice. Okay, well, blackberry bliss, but it's a purple. I'm gonna score that back a little bit just so it's getting a nice crease there. Okay, so now I'm gonna put my velvety ribbon on there to complement our design. And when I'm doing this, I like to use just some Scotch tape to fasten the ribbon, especially when they have like a lot of texture to them, like this one does. So I'm just gonna flip my card over and take my Scotch tape there. And tape that in down, and then I'm gonna do the same over here. Tape that down. And then because this is gonna have some volume on it, I want to use my Stampin' Seal. Get that started. And I'm just putting adhesive between those two score lines. Okay, let me show you a little closer up here. So see, the adhesive is between the two score lines. You don't want to put adhesive beyond this score line over, you'll tape your card shut. You just want it in that section because when you close this and press that down, it's going to create then your book fold. Okay, and that'll stay shut. So it kind of seals up all the stuff that we were doing with the ribbon. You're not going to see all that, all the ends and all that kind of stuff. Okay, got like a piece of adhesive there. Okay. All right, so we need to go ahead and put our die cut circle on. And just tear off a couple of those pieces there. Take off these tabs. And we'll just put that in the center of our card. And then let me grab some purple dimensionals here, something that would complement this. Let's see. I don't know if these, no, that's too purple. Let me see what else I've got here in my embellishments. Thing. I'm looking through all the things. Let's see what I would like to use. Oh, those kind of work. Just a light shadow. These are from In Colors, which it's Fresh Freesia, which is now part of our color line. Let me grab a couple of these. So, do one there, here, and then another one over here. Oops. Yeah, that works. Gives you a little sparkle on there. Okay, let me put these back in here so I do not lose them. Okay. So there is our Blackberry Bliss version of the blues here. Let me put these back in. So this was the direction we went in class. But like I said, I ran out of supplies for the kits, so I had to improvise. So I hope that you like the purple option. And after all, purple is a shade of blue with blue and red mixing to make that purplish color. So anyway, I hope you like it. All right, let me clear off all this crazy creativity stuff here and bring back our projects. So I'm going to put those there. We'll put this one in here because we did that differently. I've got both of these. So that was the original design. This was like, oh, Christina messed up. So we had to change the design. And then this one and this one, let me put it over here. Can't quite see it. There we go. Okay. So those are our card designs for the Blueprint for Beautiful class, an exploration of blues. So I hope that you have enjoyed these projects as much as I've enjoyed sharing them with you, and that you create these cards and you use them to brighten somebody's day, because they can a cheerful card in the mail, or just a card letting somebody know that you're thinking about them, can really change somebody's day. So I know it's happened for me. When I get a card in the mail, it's just a little bit of sunshine. So I appreciate you taking the time today to allow me to share with you. And until next time, happy stamping. All right, bye-bye for now.